what did he call them? Cock-ups?
Yeah, it was cock push-ups.
Push-ups, yeah.
Cock push-ups. This episode is not called cock push-ups.
Why
Hey,
not?
Matt, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Pat.
Week 2, we're back.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to?
Still playing some more Mass Effect 3 multiplayer right now.
You've been feeding me Citadel clips.
I've been feeding you so many Citadel clips because that is the best thing you'll ever find from that game. I've also been. It's been weird since I finished Kill la Kill. I've picked up a new anime, which is really weird.
What is it?
Watching Magica Madoka or Madoka Magica. I can't recall which way it's supposed to go.
Depending on which country you're in, I bet it flips.
Yeah, maybe. Which is really, really weird, and I don't know how to feel about it yet.
Oh, that's a weird place to be. Is it like a 20-episode thing? Is it an OVA?
I don't remember. I want to say it was like a 20-episode thing.
Where are you watching it?
Netflix.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you're just going down the Netflix hole.
Yeah, kinda. It got... I saw a lot of memes for it around the same time I saw the popularity rise for Kill la Kill and Attack on Titan.
Oh, okay.
It's like, well, I'll give that a try and see what's up with that. And it's... I do not like the art style very much. They can't seem to draw anyone older than 15.
Ew.
There's like... Well, she's got parents who are like, you know, adult age, but they don't look like they're older than 17.
Well, maybe it's like Out of Time. Does no one age over 15, but they're actually over the age?
They live in some kind of future utopia like that.
Yeah, like, well, there was that movie with Justin Timberlake where no one looked older than 24, I think. It was
I don't
called,
remember.
Like, Out of Time.
I never saw it.
Oh, well, neither
don't
did
think I
I,
even
but I
heard
heard
of it.
descriptions, yeah. Well, look it up. It's the basic premise is, like, time is the currency. So, like, once you hit 24, like, a clock disappears on your arm and you have a year left to live, but you can, like, earn time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like one of the lines from the trailer is like, I can't believe it costs 5 minutes for a cup of coffee now. So, like, yeah.
Ouch.
That kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
anyway, everyone's 24. So, like, the entire... Like, his mom is played by Olivia Wilde. So, even though that she's, like, 50 or something like that, she's Olivia Wilde. Like, everyone's the same age, and they just all top out. And the moment you run out of time, you just instantly die. But
Sounds like a short story rather than a movie.
It really does sound like something like Philip K. Dick, like, wrote part of that and then didn't finish it.
But yeah, Magica Magica is weird. It's sort of like a commentary on magical girl anime. They are literally called magical girls, is what they call it.
Is it Magical Girl Squad, Magical Girl School?
No, they literally like they make a deal with the devil to become magical girls. Like they have to make it. I don't know what this thing is. It's a weird little animal who you're not supposed to trust, as far as I can tell. Like he's supposed to be obviously creepy and subversive.
Oh, so it's not like a Poro or something. This is obviously like a little devil.
No, it's kind of like a Poro, but he's very creepy. Like they make no. They don't make any. They don't try to cover up the fact that there's something off and wrong about him and what he wants. It's weird. It's kind of like a commentary on like, well, this is what it would kind of be like. Their life would be terrible.
Oh, okay.
It just anything after Kill la Kill is going to feel weird anyways. Nothing's going to match that.
Yeah, which is our main topic of the episode. If anyone wants to go to the Kill la Kill topic, I do time code these podcasts. So if you want to go to any topic.
Well, it's really kind of weird is that I do not like the art style at all. I mentioned that already. But when they go into like the magical girls fight, they enter witch labyrinths. And at that point, they enter a whole different kind of animation style, which is kind of like the Count of Monte Cristo. What was that?
Genkutsuo.
Yeah, it's kind of like that all of a sudden.
Huh.
And that's where all the action is taking place for the most part so far. So, like, their enemies, like the witches they fight, are kind of like these abstract concepts rather than some kind of, like, more tangible fight to watch. So it's like I said, it's been really kind of weird to watch. I don't know quite how I feel about it yet.
So that kind of reminds me, only in that kind of like the different art style. Do you remember the 1990s Johnny Quest sequel series?
Vaguely.
Where like the whole premise was it's like Johnny Quest is a teenager, but instead of going on teenager things, him and Jesse and Haji would all plug into like the Matrix and they would fight a crappy CG thing.
No, actually, that's not ringing any bells. I don't remember that at all.
My God. The villain of the show was a cripple. Like that was his. I can't walk anymore. But he ruled the digital world. and Haji was still Haji.
Huh.
I don't know. Look it up. It would be funny to look up. I watched a bunch of DC animated films this weekend.
There's a bunch I want to watch, but I can't get them streaming. So
I went. I have a bunch of the DVDs, so just like let's go back. Did you ever see New Frontier?
yes, I do not. I remember enjoying it, but unfortunately, I remember I even borrowed the comic from me when you had it, and I remember reading it. But I don't remember anything about the story.
I think
like that was just in and out.
That's the 1960s era DC film. Really good cast. It's a lot of fun. And actually, the cool thing, like one of those things where you don't appreciate a cast until you discover other things. Superman in New Frontier is played by Kyle MacLachlan, or as you might know him, Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks.
I'm glad to know that he does work like that.
What a great 1950s Superman. He has like the perfect tone and intonation for it too.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can hear him doing it in my head right now.
Well worth going back to. My only complaint is super like personal, but I don't think they nailed. There's a reaction shot from Lois at the very end, and they didn't bother trying to recreate the panel. It's one of my favorite panels. And then I watched, I think, one of the worst ever, and that's All-Star Superman.
I never watched any for the All-Star Superman. In fact, I don't think I even finished reading All-Star Superman.
Oh, well, then I got to force you to do that because that's one of my favorite comics.
I think I stopped reading about the time that it was after the Lex Luthor in prison issue.
Okay. Well, I think to go into real-world logistics, you were probably reading while we were still in college together, but it finished after we got out of college.
That probably was what happened.
I probably was no longer throwing issues at you since we weren't no longer living in a dorm together. But it's more of instead of like New Frontier, which had a great cast and really captured the spirit, All-Star Superman is the most like thrown under the bus, lazy, just like feels like an impression of it instead of a recreation.
Did DC do an animated version for All-Star Batman?
No, they didn't. There was talks of that. They never pulled the trigger. Oh, I'm so glad of that.
It's probably for the better.
What actor would have the balls to say, "What are you, retarded? I'm the goddamn Batman"?
They get Frank Miller to come in and do it himself.
Yeah, you know what? Never mind. He would totally do that.
That's what they do.
And the final thing I saw, which is something I had but had never bothered to watch, was Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1.
I will unfortunately admit that is on Netflix. I got it as part of not streaming.
Oh, okay.
On DVD, and it came in once, but I never got around to watching it, so we sent it back, and I haven't had a chance to put it back on my list yet.
It's wonderful. Holy crap. When they're like, hey, let's break this up into 2 parts and just do a really good 1-to-1 recreation of this thing. It's really good.
Good.
My one little nitpick is they don't want any bit of a narration. So, like, all the big famous narration lines, they had to work into dialogue. So there's this really lame moment where, like, he's fighting the mutant boss. Yep. And, like, he does the thing where, like, he hits him in the forehead. And in the comic, he's thinking it's like, I get him with, like, a nick above the eye, the right kind that bleeds. So he does the nick, and the mutant boss says out loud, "What did you just do to me?" And he says, "I just nicked you above the eye, the right kind, the kind that bleeds." Like, it says it to, it's like, I'm describing what I'm doing to you as I do it. Like, they have the mutant boss, since he's thinking about rubber bullets, since he doesn't think that, they have the mutant boss pick up one and go like, "Rubber bullets, huh?"
Honest.
Yeah. So
I always kept thinking they had already done that thanks to that one
that splendid moment in the Batman animated series?
Yeah.
Where they got Michael Ironside to do Batman and he nailed all of those lines?
Yep. Like, thanks to that one, I'd always thought they did that. I was like, no, they didn't. And now they have.
Do you know who played Batman in it?
In what?
In the new version.
No, I do not.
RoboCop.
Wait, I've seen a clip from it.
It's RoboCop.
Okay.
Yeah, RoboCop's playing it, which fits really well. I can't think of any of the other actors off the top of my head, but it's all very good. I
saw a clip from YouTube about the talk that Batman had with Superman when he was brushing that horse off.
Yeah, brushing that horse. They captured the whole, like, why would Clark show up wearing a shirt that doesn't have any buttons? It's like, why? Sorry, Clark, I only have shirts this big. But yeah, it's well worth checking out. I'm gonna figure out how to get my hands on part 2. I love that. I loved it to death.
What I want to check out, I've heard good things about Assault on Arkham.
I've heard that that's interesting as well.
Like, I want to see that because if nothing else, Suicide Squad with Harley Quinn on it really seems interesting. I want to see that.
And for whatever reason, I don't know how this happened. Maybe it's Injustice. I really like Killer Frost, and Killer Frost is in it.
Ah, cool. Let's God, we have not played Injustice in over a year. Was she in that?
Yeah, Killer
They did
Frost
Killer
is in
Frost?
it. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to play her because I like Sub-Zero, but she's more of a combo-heavy kind of character. Her gimmick was, every character had a gimmick. Hers was,
She wasn't just the Sub-Zero clone?
no,
Okay.
that would have been better for me.
Okay.
But her thing, I think, like if you charged it up, like it would add extra hit stun, like she was freezing people as she hit them or something like that. She's not really high tier, so you don't see a lot of her. The very first Evo that it was in, Puerto Rican Balrog of Street Fighter Marvel fame made it to top 8 with her.
Huh.
She had an infinite that he was able to pull off.
Well, the Injustice comic looks really neat too because every now and then, for some reason on Imgur, just whole issues get uploaded there. And it's like, guys, check out Injustice. It's awesome. Here's a whole issue. Now you don't need to go check it out, but check this out.
Check this out. It's great.
It looks really cool. It seems like they really hit a sweet spot that is more caring and loving than most of anything in mainstream right now.
Well, the only reason I want to read it is I saw a quote from the writer a little while ago, like someone to retweet him. It's like, to all the people that are complaining that there's not enough Batman in the Injustice comic, he's in every panel. You just don't see him because he's Batman.
Okay. I'm just gonna go and buy. Do they have the trade paperbacks yet?
Yeah.
Can I go get those?
I think that you could probably get a digital. Digital's the way to go, man.
Cheaper.
Ever since I bought all of that Star Wars comic, and didn't finish reading it, but was able to buy it all for $20. 100 issues for $20. That's pretty solid. I finished the first part of Half Minute Hero.
So how did we talk about that last time at all?
I did a bad job of describing it. Yeah, we talked
Okay.
about it a little bit. I finished the first quest of Half Minute Hero.
It sounded like you were starting to be unhappy with it.
Yeah, it was one of the things that I kind of pushed through, and if I am so worried because the second quest started, and it seems to be just more of the same, so it's like, But I really appreciate just to spoil it, but the joke at the end of the first segment was because you thwart the bad guy like 31 times through his 31 missions. He goes, well, fine, you're a human, I'm not. I'm just going to wait for you to die of old age, and then I'm going to try again.
Damn.
So the second leg takes place 100 years later. So I think that's pretty funny. But yeah.
Did I mention, because that makes me think of Rogue Legacy. I don't remember if I talked about that at all.
Oh, I played a little bit of Rogue Legacy. I beat the first boss. That's as far as I got. The big eyeball.
That was a fun game.
Did you finish it?
No, I don't have the willpower to. Because you get to I'm definitely over leveled where I should be at the point, but the last boss is just such bullshit, and you have to listen to his dialogue every time you go to him.
Oh, boo, boo.
And it's like the first time you heard him say it was great too, because it's like, and this all you leave behind was a rogue legacy.
Oh, that's great. Never mind.
And then he drops the mic, walks away. Done with the game. Don't need to beat him. I don't care if there's anything after the credits. I'm just gonna go play Don't Shit Your Pants.
Yeah, it's from the makers of Don't Shit Your Pants. Like, the ending is he probably shits himself.
But I don't know. I'm probably never gonna have the willpower to finish that game because it was after a certain point the rogue part just gets too repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know how to play all the characters now. I've unlocked everything I really feel like unlocking. But nothing's changed about the gameplay. I can't level up and get any stronger than I am, really. Not enough to the point where it's going to get easier.
I got really bummed whenever I had a run where it's like, well, I can't get anything out of this. Boo.
Yeah, those kind of suck. Like, where you literally get nothing. You don't even have gold to spend when you're done.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where, like, the premise is so great, but I just ran out of steam.
If we hadn't gotten into, 3,000 something 3,000 something AD...
Had there been lasers, maybe I would have continued.
They kind of justify the family always being poor because they literally said, my family's going to spend the rest of its life in poverty because they're going to keep spending all that money on Sharon, or Charon, or whatever the correct Greek pronunciation for his name is.
So I wrote down a couple of things. I don't know if you've seen. I have some video game news for you, and I want to hear how you'll react to some of these things. So have you heard Have you seen anything about Assassin's Creed Rogue?
Oh God, no! I should have looked that up because you mentioned it to me earlier. But
Okay, so,
I fell out of love with Assassin's Creed before 3 came out.
okay, so 3 is the worst thing ever,
So
ever.
so I've heard you tell me.
4 is incredible.
4 was literally just the pirate one, right?
Is the pirate one, yeah, the one Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Was Black Flag the title? I thought that was the expansion.
No,
The
it's
one
just
where
called
you
Black Flag.
well, they made an expansion where you play a
Freedom's
different
Cry.
guy. That's what it was. Okay.
That's one where you're freeing slaves and you have a slave meter you fill up.
That is still so weird to me too because I was such a huge fan of the first Assassin's Creed when it came out, and I loved the first part of the second one. But over what was it like 2 or 3 expansions to 2?
Revelations was crap. Brotherhood was okay.
Brotherhood was okay just because it introduced the whole assassin control thing.
Yeah, go take care of this
War,
for me button.
where you just wanted to see more of that.
Yeah.
And it had that really awesome trailer that they got the awesome lyrics to from Tobuscus,
Yeah.
which I still sing to myself every now and then because of him.
But yeah, so you never even tried Black Flag?
No, I mean, I like it looks great and everything. It's just I fell out of love with that series.
It's really funny too. Like it's a series where like the whole like Desmond's over. Like Desmond isn't in it whatsoever. Like the whole justification for like the justification itself is really like weird.
Wasn't it like a Templar training program now or something?
No, the Templars have started a video game company.
Ah, okay.
So the Animus, like now that the plot of the Assassin's Creed series is over, they still have all this technology. So like the idea is like, all right, well we'll sell the Animus as like the best video game console ever.
Well, kinda.
And you're collecting historical data. You're not even like related. Like they're using Desmond's DNA to go into Desmond's past, but you're not related to Desmond whatsoever. And you're creating data for their game called like the Villains of the Caribbean or whatever.
Okay.
And the character like
so did they also completely laid to rest the whole ancient thing?
But like
the aliens.
It's touched in ways where like he's a pirate. He doesn't care. He really doesn't care about anything.
Uh-huh.
Like the way that you're entered into the story is like in the beginning of the game, you get shipwrecked as a pirate, and then you happen to just wander into an assassin on the same island. You murder him. Notice he has a letter, and you just get swept up into everything. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess this is gonna happen. Will it make me rich? Will there be grog? And
Basically, like a throwaway MacGuffin, get him in there so you can start murdering people.
Yeah, but he doesn't care. Like, it's like great sarcastic moments where they're like, show us your skill, Master Assassin. And he's like, oh, which one of my famous assassin moves would you like to see me do? Like, this is how they do the tutorial. And the guy's like, I hear you guys can jump on people off of a roof. And he's like, alrighty, well, let me do that. Here I am, jumping off a roof. Like, that's the tone of the game. It's really good. So they've announced that they're making 2 different Assassin's Creed. Unity.
That's the one with the French Revolution, right?
Yeah, that's on the Xbone and the PS4.
Right.
And that looks I think that looks terrible.
That's the thing. Like, at this point, from everything I've seen, it doesn't look any different to me than any other Assassin's Creed game at that point.
Hey, guess what? It's got 4-player co-op.
Not female co-op.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so there's four players, and I think that means that it's gonna suck. So on the flip side of that, they just announced they're also making a game called Assassin's Creed Rogue, which might as well have a colon. Yo, more of that Black Flag stuff.
Yeah, this is why I get. Is that just the only difference? Is that this is going to be focusing on the? I even remember reading what theater it was
different
in.
time period. It's after 4 but before 3, because 4 is a prequel to 3, and you're playing an assassin, an Irish assassin that is turned against the Order. So you're working for the Templar, and you have a pirate ship.
I thought you were a Templar.
No? You're a Templar. Yeah, you start as an assassin that switches sides.
Okay.
So you're hunting assassins, and they're like, hey, and they put up a I feel like they know because in the gameplay footage they put out, they're like, hey, you can hunt narwhals and polar bears, and we've added a whole bunch more shanties. It's like, that's great. That's
So
great.
basically, they at the same time they're releasing Unity, they're releasing another Assassin's Creed game, which is just more Black Flag
Yeah, for the 360, PS3, and PC.
for older systems, not for the new consoles.
Completely different teams, and I think Rogue looks 1,000 times. In fact, they've axed any kind of desire to even work on multiplayer. Like
God,
Rogue
yes.
is.
They put it was Eidos, not Eidos. It was Montreal though, wasn't it?
I think so.
On the Unity team, and then
One of the other
yeah,
houses
one of
is
the
working
others
this.
on.
But everything I've seen in the gameplay they showed looks great. And they added like machine gun cannons, or they're like, we added these cannons to shoot cannonballs really fast at the front of your ship.
Oh, I saw that video for it. Yeah,
Yeah, where
the
it's
guy
just like,
kind of just put down his musket and all of a sudden had a machine gun.
yeah, I really want. I can't wait for Rogue. I'm super excited about that. Speaking of other things I'm super excited about, did you hear about the 2 pieces of Resident Evil news?
I heard about the remake. I haven't heard anything else.
All right, so I'm someone. I don't know how to feel about the remake because I never actually. I
There's
bought
no-
the
there's-
remake.
Did
but
you ever
never-
play it?
I got stuck, and then never beat it.
Couldn't find the right rooster key.
Yeah, basically. The other thing that just accidentally leaked is like a Canadian Walmart, I think. I probably have the story totally wrong, but it's one of those retailer leaks.
Uh-huh.
They're totally doing a Revelations 2.
Really?
Yeah, so like the thing that started as the 3DS game that they ported to 360 and PS3, that apparently sold gangbusters. I loved that game. Life got it. That's a game that I didn't finish because life got in the way, and I want to go back and actually finish that. But that game is great.
Which one was that? I don't even remember Revelations.
It's zombies on a boat. You're Jill Valentine on a boat, and there's zombies.
I think that one went completely under my radar.
It's-
I'd never even heard of it.
It's awesome. It's really cool. And my only complaint is the mercenaries mode has the flying numbers when you do damage, and I wish you could have that in the single player mode because it's got the whole like loots, like you're collecting guns and you're getting upgrades, and it's a little bit better than 6. But they do have the similar kind of issues where like there's scarcity of ammo, but there's a whole bunch of areas where the only way you can get by is if you kill a boss or a certain number of zombies. It's like if you miss a lot or you're not smart about getting headshots or doing melee attacks, like you'll run out of ammo and just get stuck. That happens all the time in 6. Revelations is cool. I have nothing but neat. I loved Revelations. So the idea that there's a second one, maybe a bigger boat. I don't know. I'm
Revelations
excited
2,
about that.
more boat, more zombie.
There's
More
another
killer.
boat. But yeah, and so I'm excited about that. So Resident Evil.
Tropical Evil.
Yeah, on a boat. Let me see here. This is kind of a minor thing. This is me asking for advice, even though I probably won't do any of it. The current Xbox sale is Rockstar games, so you can get LA Noire, Red Dead, and Bully for cheap, as well as GTA 4, not 5.
I've not played any of those.
All right, I don't like Rockstar games, so I feel like I want to play the zombie mode.
One of the Red
in
Deads
Cowboy one.
was supposedly pretty good, but I don't remember which one. I want to say it was the second one.
Yeah, the one that Rockstar made, not the Capcom one.
Yeah.
Even though I think Ryan liked the Capcom one. Maybe I'll interview him. I'm like, hey Ryan, talk about Cowboys.
It was one of them.
Yeah. But that's the current sale going on right now. I'm kind of bummed. About that.
Did you get
yeah.
free
I have free Dishonored. I haven't played it.
you got free Magic Assassin?
I have so many free games I haven't touched.
That game is
Yeah.
I got a feeling that if you actually play that game where you just kill everyone, it's going to be so easy.
They're like, Matt, the game's an hour and a half. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
It's like I spent a whole weekend on that game at least. You finished it in 2 hours. That's fine. Whatever.
It'll be shorter than this podcast.
That's like what you don't understand, man, is you literally just shoot everyone. Nothing stops you.
I just shot them, Matt. I just shot them.
Well, it's like the magic you get to is insane. Like in any other game, it would break it. Like there's no mechanics left after you start using the magic.
Is this like Deus Ex, though, where it's like, you could go really crazy, but the Deus Ex, like, punished you. Like, they're like, you got guns, but you really shouldn't do that.
I don't feel like Deus Ex did that. I felt like Deus Ex made you make a choice between the two.
Okay, maybe
This
I didn't get
one,
far enough.
this one, I'm almost positive is easier if you fight everyone. And
Well,
the thing
that-
is, I think the combat looks really fun, but I really like stealth, so I'm jealous of anyone who does combat in that game. I just
Well,
haven't
I might
done a
film
second
it.
playthrough.
You'll see.
Okay.
And the final bit of news I have, and maybe you will have thought of some news during all of this. So did you hear about the Metal Gear project, the fan project that just got canceled?
No, actually, I didn't hear anything about it.
All right, so this is one of those things that I'm only interested in for the stupidest of reasons. So, a group of fans were recreating Metal Gear. There we go. Not Solid, but Metal Gear, the first game.
Okay.
They're doing a fan recreation. In fact, like a year and a half ago, longer than a year, less than 3, I suppose.
Oh,
They actually got
Zanzibar.
permission. They got permission from Konami. They're like, because I guess they saw like the big Chrono thing where the people had like worked so hard on making a 3D Chrono Trigger and then it got killed near the end. So they actually asked and were like, "Hey, is it okay if we do this?" And they're like, "Hey, you gonna make any money off of it?" "No, we're definitely gonna lose money making this thing." And they're like, "All right, cool, whatever." So they were working on it. They got like some industry people were really passionate about it too. So you had some level designers from professional games working on it. And the crazy thing is, they got, I guess because he's not doing much, David Hayter signed on to this fan project to record all of the dialogue. And then out of nowhere, Konami just decided, like, no, you can't do anymore. How does
Those
that
are
make you
sad.
feel? And they even put out a trailer that's narrated by David Hayter. And the only reason I'm interested in this is that he was voicing both Big Boss and Snake. And he was
Nice.
doing different voices.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to hear that. I want to hear what he does.
It's great because, like, I'm so used to old...
Does he just use his speaking voice for Old Snake?
Well, no, because over the years, thanks to, like, Metal Gear Solid 4's, like, older Snake way of talking, like the parody of the Snake voice almost, where it's like, and I'm gonna grunt everything kind of like this and more. Blah, blah. Like, I hate that voice, and it's like, why did I ever like David Hayter? At the very end of the trailer, he responds with, like, the Metal Gear Solid 1, like, slightly higher pitched, quicker speaking, no grunting voice for the Snake response. And it's like, oh shit, that would have been great. But I just like the idea of them chatting with each other. And it just totally got canceled. So their response was to put out a trailer, maybe to try to create people to guilt Konami into letting them do it. I don't know. I would never play it, though, which is the main problem.
Probably not.
Like, I guess maybe to play long enough to hear to see whether or not they dub the line, like, he fell asleep, or he feel like the truck is moving, or whatever, that famous mistranslation.
Yeah.
I don't know, I dig that. I think that'd be cool. So is there anything else you've heard recently?
Nothing I can think of at the top of my head.
All right, cool.
This isn't a Mugen. It's something I come across recently called Card Saga Wars. Have you heard of this?
Card Saga? Is that like Cold Step Saga or something?
No, I don't think it's a fighting game. And it's basically got a whole ton of Square and Capcom characters in it. It's extremely smooth. It looks like it was done. It looks like a Mugen, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. I'll have to send you a clip of it later.
Mugen can be pretty powerful.
Maybe it is.
Okay.
I can't find a link to it anywhere, though. I can only find YouTube videos of it.
Okay, so you just remind me of something I also played recently.
But like, I just want to real quick. Like one of the fights I'm watching, it's on Zenin Bridge. On one team is Chrono and Frog, and they're like Chrono. They're wailing on X, and Chrono calls in an assist from Frog, and they do the X strike together.
Oh, that's perfect.
And it's
that's
like,
awesome.
You can't nail it better than that.
That's actually pretty cool. I like that. It might be Mugen. I played. I think it's called Hyper DBZ. This made the news a little while ago. Did you see anybody talk? Did you see any talk of this?
I thought we talked about it.
No, we talked about Super DBZ, which is a PS2 game. Hyper DBZ is a fan-made Mugen-based DBZ fighter, and it was like the same cut and paste headline on every video game website where it's like, fan-made What If Super Nintendo game. And I tried it out. It's actually pretty good. It plays pretty pretty cool. The only problem is, like, it is not a Super Nintendo level of, like, every character comes with a PDF you have to read to understand how to play that character. Like, they're almost over-designed. Like, there's multiple meters, multiple, like, concepts. But it's a lot of neat stuff. There's Goku and Super Saiyan Goku has a bunch of teleport moves that are really neat. Love to try it. It's a lot of fun. It's worth looking out, more than just watching the YouTube video. I'm not used to setting up Mugen, or Mugen, or whatever. So that was a little complicated. But I guess that's everything I've been doing. Everything you've been doing?
Yep.
Oh, I think just to quickly throw that out there, I fought a couple Gnars, and he can't bring it. Get him out of bot lane, man.
Oh, you mean where they were playing him AD carry?
Yeah.
He's a top lane bruiser. I do not think he was in the right role.
I was talking to someone on Twitter about bot lane Gnar, and they think it's okay, but I think it's stupid because even worse than Quinn, like Mega Gnar, like you're giving up a bunch of DPS just to get an extra CC bot.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make any sense in a team fight whatsoever.
I just don't think that's where he gets utilized the best. I don't think that's the best place for him to win lane. I don't think it's the best place for him to get what he needs to carry late game.
People are overthinking the fact that he has like a Vayne-esque W, where if you hit 3 times it procs and it does, but it doesn't do true damage like Vayne. It does percentage health magic damage.
Right. I think that's better. I think that is better off against the kind of characters you'd face in top lane.
Yeah, a lot of them build armor, so yeah, that would be a good thing to do. Yeah, I think he makes more sense in the top lane. A lot of people think he might go mid, which I also think is just doesn't make any sense.
I was thinking about saying I could kind of see him mid, but
He's weird. He's got a lot of like.
Law will prove me wrong,
and
Law will prove me wrong soon enough, anyways.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be played at Worlds.
No, it's like when I bought Diana because I really wanted a jungler, and almost immediately everyone was like, "No, she's not a jungler.
She's
Don't
top
play her
lane or
jungle.
mid lane, yeah.
She's top or mid." It's like, no, I have mid laners. I don't want another mid laner.
You can play Diana jungle.
You can
She's
now.
just a lot of work.
And she was designed to be a jungler. Like that was their whole thing. Like if you were following Morello, everything he kept releasing is like, yeah, she's going to be a super aggressive, in your face, all or nothing jungler. Play her jungle. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, and apparently I'm really terrible and shitty at that, so I don't actually want that. Apparently, I want a jungler like
Vi is what you want. Actually, I did think of one extra thing to ask you, not to go into too much detail about it, but have you seen any more Korra since the last time we talked? You had seen the first 6 episodes.
Yeah, I think we just finished watching episode 9. I want to say.
Can you hum a few bars of that one?
Can I do what?
Hum a few bars, like describe it a little bit.
She knows who the Red Lotus are now. And they just killed the Earth Queen.
Oh, so you got to see the breath bending.
Yeah, I got to see him take the breath out of her lungs.
Oh, okay. So we'll have to. I think when Korra's over, we'll do a big season 3 Korra conversation.
Okay.
I just wanted to touch on that, so just to, I guess, like a tease of a topic for the future.
I'm still hung up on that. Why doesn't anyone who seems to be trying to be peaceful ever just talk to Korra?
Yeah, no one ever. That's how you can tell if someone's a good person. They attack her first. Oh, you monster. Okay, so I guess we'll transition to the main topic.
Okay.
At this point, hey Matt, Kill la Kill's the best.
It is definitely my favorite anime series of the past couple years.
I really like Kill la Kill. Like this is gonna be a big old lovin' probably for this series.
I will rewatch. I don't usually rewatch anything really because I don't feel like it. There's been 2 exceptions in my recent life. One is I totally watched Guardians of the Galaxy twice.
Same here.
Because that was definitely worth it. I'm totally going to rewatch this entire series, all, 26, 24 episodes? 25 maybe? Oh, 24.
24. The 25th episode will be coming out as a bonus.
That's what it is, yeah. I will totally rewatch all 24 episodes as the dub comes out.
Yeah. Okay, so here's something I want to address before we even get into the topic. I did a little reading, and I don't know how this makes you feel, but I'm kind of steamed about it. So the people that licensed Kill la Kill are apparently time travelers from the asshole past.
Okay.
They're going to be releasing Kill la Kill on DVD and Blu-ray, 4 episodes at a time. With 2 to 3 months in between DVDs.
And like $60 a DVD?
$30.
That's
still on
overpriced.
Sale for DVD.
Oh, God. That is...
Which means if you only catch them on there when they're new on sale, they intend to people, and they've confirmed 5 DVDs, that Kill la Kill will cost you $150.
That is almost $8 an episode.
That is stupid, is what it is.
Like if I were to buy those episodes on something like the
Amazon or iTunes.
Yeah, it's like what usually somewhere between $2 to $5 an episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost $8 an episode.
$8 an episode, spread out across years.
Because I spent a small fortune to get Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh God,
That's the only anime, like long series animes, anyways, that I was willing to put that much money down on.
I think,
and even then, I regret it, even though I loved it.
I think I spent $200 on Trigun.
Oh God, Trigun was that big, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
Oh, that's back when you could buy stuff at an anime store. I went to an anime store that just sold anime and got Trigun.
That was almost the death of anime. Was these? Cannot believe they're doing this for Kill la Kill. Who's doing this?
I didn't. Aniplex, I'm pretty sure is the group.
Really? Aren't they the ones who do the publishing for Full Metal Alchemist too?
Maybe. No, that's Funimation. Who are surprisingly no longer the big villains.
That is kind of funny.
I mean, the real goofy thing. So I've been looking. Kill la Kill got me interested in anime a bit. Funimation actually has its own like Netflix kind of sort of thing subscription where if you pay them, I think it's like $6 a month, you just have access to everything they've ever done on the internet. You can just stream every show they've ever done.
That's kind of nice.
Which is better than $30 for 4 episodes.
Ouch.
And it's spread out too. It's not like next month another one's coming. It's like you get like 2 to 3 months to save up your $30. And if someone is dumb enough to buy it on Blu-ray, I think it's like $50 a disc. So that makes Kill la Kill $250.
Yikes.
Which
for 24 episodes.
24 episodes. The world has changed. So do they think that is anime a luxury? Is owning anime a luxury at this point?
I don't know how I'm using that word.
Like completely unnecessary and expensive and only showing some weird high-level support, I guess?
Like, are you saying like it's niche or something? Because, it's always been a luxury. It's just...
they're not being competitive anymore. Like, Gurren Lagann came out, it was 2 boxes, like $18 a box, and that was the whole series.
Mm-hmm.
And that was competitive. Like, this is, like, insane. This is how things used to be. These are the old days, man. I feel like this should come with cholera. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about how old-fashioned.
Like, I was totally willing to actually buy this one too. Like, it's been, I guess that's mine to be part of it too. Is I literally have not looked at buying anime in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's basically been, can it come through Netflix? Is it online somewhere? Can I buy episodes of it online somewhere? As opposed to wanting to buy a physical copy to have in my house.
I had the same thing when I saw Gundam Build Fighters. Now that the Gundam creators just post all of their stuff on YouTube, like there's no physical release in this country for it. Like I want to own it, but I can't because it's just available for streaming. So I fear the day when I go to YouTube and go like, I'm going to rewatch Build Fighters. Oh, it's gone forever. Goodbye.
There was one anime I watched on YouTube. Was it? I want to say it was Code Geass.
Code Geass on YouTube. That was available on YouTube through the Bandai YouTube channel, which is now basically dead.
Yeah, I remember I tried to go back there and watch some Gundam they had on there, and it wasn't there anymore.
Yep. Now the Gundam people separated to their own YouTube channel, which is weird because it's always Build Fighters and then a random mix of other... There's so much Gundam that like they vary it every few months, where it's like All of Age is up right now, watch it now, or hey, we evolved Zeta, now it's all of this. Like it's gotten weird. But I guess to talk about Kill la Kill, and maybe I'll even retime code this. So I kind of cut the series up into different arcs, or what I perceive to be arcs, and we can kind of talk about this. So I think the first arc that you can kind of call it are the first 8 episodes. Which
that's the one that culminates with
I'm separating her fighting the captains into a different arc. This is just her like villain of the week is kind of how the show worked during the first 8 episodes. It's a different club captain.
Well, they didn't carry that for whole 8 episodes, did they? I thought by then they had like 4 episodes in a row with just that final tournament.
No, well, they had like No, it was pretty much just like villain of the week. Like you had tennis, you had the trap club. Well, the thing is, then if you think about it, Mako also counts in that when the family got rich.
Wasn't that a great episode?
That's a great episode. Yeah.
Mako was badass. That uniform she got too. And you
Which
finished it now, so wasn't
yeah.
seeing that again great?
Oh my god, that's one of the highlights of the series. I
It's like, yeah,
loved
she got it
seeing that.
back.
They were like, we had to give it. I figured I would create the first Goki uniform I would create was the one who had no combat abilities without uniform, and like she punches the giant thing in the face, and it's like, yeah. Oh god, that's so good. I like the early episodes. I think work out pretty well, even though it's like very basic formula kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sticks to a very basic formula. Like, you know what's going to happen. You know pretty much all the twists before they happen because they're
Oh
sticking
yeah,
straight to the formula.
but they do it so well.
Exactly.
But it's like kind of the thing where it's like if somebody makes pancakes, you're like, I've seen pancakes before, but I love pancakes. Like that's what the series is kind of like.
Exactly.
You know what to expect, but it's delicious.
And this is a damn good pancake.
This is a very good pancake, my friend. And I think they have a lot of good like. The highlight of this, I think, is Mako and the family. I think really helps bolster the first early episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And any gag with the teacher.
Yeah. He was always just fun to watch that episode.
He was just, especially like the amount of times where he was just like, the first time he reveals who he actually is, and how like he just is more and more lax with it every time he appears early on in the series.
They never really got old. They never got tired of the gag of the clothes just slowly falling off of him.
Like there were scenes where like he would just be wearing a coat so that could fall off.
Just inexplicable. Like, was this from the first part where they had that had that scene where he started getting naked with Mako's family?
That's actually at the very end of the show.
Oh, was it at the very end?
Yeah, I kept waiting for it, and when I saw it, it was better than
Okay.
what you described. It was even funnier.
It was.
Yeah. So for early on, I think if you want to sum up, the first one she fights is the boxing guy, which, I mean, that's forgettable, but that has the amazing moment where she stomps on the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I love that's in the first episode. That just lets you know the style of the show.
Mm-hmm.
When she just stomps on that thing, and it's like the wrestler, like, I'm coming for you, Satsuki. Well, also, I guess the creativity of it. It's like the tennis thing was great.
Mm-hmm.
What's after that? Well, I guess instead of just trying to remember, well, the funny thing is, like the third episode, I'm pretty sure the villain of it is the oh crap, what's the name of the other living suit?
Junketsu?
Yeah, that's when Junken shows up. That's the third episode, and then you have the needle guy, and then you have a bunch. You know, you have the planting guy. You have the trap captain.
I remember those episodes being less about the villains. I remember the pacing being faster than a whole episode being focused on someone.
Well, the villains weren't really the fun thing is like the villains are just like they're kind of there. Like the tennis captain in the second episode is so little of what that episode is. Like they tease her at the very beginning, and that's more about the fact that Mako apparently is in the tennis club. Like they claim that, and she takes the punishment for it, but you never really hear Mako talking about tennis.
She is a what's the word they keep using for her? Underachiever?
Underachiever. She's the underachiever extraordinaire.
That's why she was sleeping in episode 1.
She eats immediately and then sleeps. Mako's great. So
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it too, though. Just how great it is when they take the formula they know. But where any other anime would have made this boring, where they would have had those episodes focused literally on one team captain of whatever the club was, and a whole episode going into their backstory, and then one climactic fight at the end of it where Ryuko beats them. It's not that at all. It's like that. Like, you could say that happens in the episode, but it's so fast. It's so much better than what that would have been in, say, Inuyasha.
Oh, God. Oh, don't forget Inuyasha.
I'm going to bring it up one more time.
Inuyasha.
Before we're done, I'm going to bring it up one more time. But yeah, it's so much better than that typical way the anime handles that. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I just say you could see the normal anime thing there, and then if you watch this, you can see how they did it better without being boring, without dragging their feet on anything.
Well, they have such a great understanding of it, too, because they seem to get when... They understand the flow of the show. Like, the last episode of what I would call the early arc is the one where she just, like, is taking out, like... She takes out, like, 4 or 5 of them in quick succession.
Yeah.
We're like,
it's like, we're playing catch-up now.
Yeah, 4 of them show up together, like, let's gang up on her. She's like, you, and you. She's like, this is getting really boring.
That's why I could have sworn that at least by episode 8 they had started that Elite Four challenge at the end of the what was it, Naturals or something?
It's teased at that. Like,
okay.
Because the way that works at the end, like, they're gonna do, it's like everyone has lost their rank, and you all have to have this Grand Royale. But it's like the Grand Royale is like beating up the no-star students or the 1-stars, and whoever had the most beat up, they would be. That's how the 4 end up on their big pillars.
That's okay.
And then at the end of this, Ryuko challenges them, so they have the full-blown anime style, like, here are the 4 bosses leading up to the main boss.
Right, and then they just shit on that too.
They shit all over that.
Yeah.
Before
like the next 3 episodes are doing that, but
yeah. Before we get into how awesomely they shit on that, I like all those fights though. What a great job of that kind of stuff.
Dude, how about when the Kendo guy shows up again?
Oh yeah, I guess we should have included him in the first 8. He's in one of the first 8, but yeah, his return where he like cut out his eyes.
Yeah, where they stuck. You knew if you watched anime at all, you knew exactly what was going to happen. He was going to kick her ass. He was going to have one humiliating defeat, and at that point, he was going to get serious.
Yeah.
Sacrifice something terrible so that he would become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Yo, they sewed my eyes shut.
Showed his eyes shut, and now all his other senses are obviously better.
Now he can't drink tea because the tea's too TE for him or whatever.
It was too hot.
But yeah, the first one that she fights is Gamagori though, and where he has like the
S&M outfit.
He controls his outfit with a ball gag.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but you know.
Yeah, but it makes sense because he's the chair of the disciplinary committee. So
what is more better to lead the disciplinary committee than a man with great self-discipline?
Yeah, he knows. The more he gets hit. Well, the funny thing too is like it builds off like that's such an anime trope, but the whole idea of like the more I get hurt, the more powerful I become.
Mm-hmm.
And she has that moment where she's like, "Well, then fine, I'm not going to fight you." So
yes, that was great.
Which is like you'd hear like you hear that all the time. Like, well, fine, they shouldn't hit him. And he's like, well, guess what? I have whips, and he just starts frantically whipping himself until he can explode. And that's where they also start the joke of when she beats them, they're naked and they're just sitting with Mako in the crowd. Yeah. Is that when he starts developing a thing for Mako?
I want to say like, well, we kind of saw him being kind to her when he picked him up in the car.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about his sweet ride.
Yeah. Like, we've seen a kinder side to Gamagori before that, I want to say.
Also, my favorite part of Gamagori is his, like, dynamic size, is the best way to put it.
That is they do that with a couple people in the anime, too. Like, I think Nui changes her size every now and then.
Yeah.
But
like, there's a later episode of the series
where he's like as big as his building.
Well, like he shows up and then Nona shows up from behind his head, like she's standing on his shoulder and like leaning against his ear, and she's as tall as his ear, and they're all having to like look up because he's taking most of the frame. Like,
and then there's other times where he seems like he might actually be human.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love the fact that they just don't keep a continuity with that. He's as big as they want him to be for that shot.
He's as big as he needs to. He's like Groot in that way. So and then she fought the hacker, right? Afterwards. She fought the hacker then.
That's right. That's the only time he actually had a fight.
It was
You don't remember it?
I don't remember that well. He could see her moves, right? Was that his deal, or he could calculate
that was
them?
How it kind of started. She's like, well, I'm gonna be random. It's like, well, I'm gonna be stealth. And it's like, well, dodge this, and she hits the entire stage.
Oh yes, she grows the eye.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What a great idea. It's a good out-of-the-box style of thinking.
You don't remember because I feel like that was less than a quarter of an episode to knock him out.
Well, the weird part of that is, yeah, he gets the first half, and then the second half is the musician.
Who gets, like, I feel like she had 3 episodes.
Well, it's cut it. Oh, did the sword guy happen again? No, the sword guy was
sword guy.
her,
you remember what happened to sword guy?
Yeah. I forgot.
He got knocked out.
Yeah, I totally remember. Yeah, the shitting on. So the musician is spread across 1.5 episodes, but she starts and then they make it. So the musician comes in, whose name is No, if I can remember, or No.
It's something like that. I don't remember.
Jacoin, I think, is her first name or something. And that's funny because you get the whole like goofy backstory. But I love the fact that she's basically like a Gundam.
Yeah, her uniform just makes a mech thing happen.
Turns into a giant, like she's this
And
little
like the
dot.
best part is that it kind of makes sense from the weird
Transformations.
crazy world they live in, but at the same time Ryugo's going, that's not a uniform anymore.
Yeah. You're a giant speaker. And they have their whole fight in the air. And I guess the other fun thing, I guess I don't remember when this started, but like that's when she realizes that her suit can transform.
Yeah.
Like she gets Wolverine claws, she gets a
Spikes.
jet for some reason.
Jet skirt, yeah.
And they knock that one out, and during that, there's two gags that I really like during all that, is where Mako's family is watching on the television. The shopkeeper is billing people 100 yen a minute or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like actually in the world people are having to pay to watch it. And another side of that is partway through the fight, a character who looks like Platinum from Blaze Blue shows up. Like the cheery blonde character. And in what you were saying, they shit on the concept of the four gods. Like right before she fights the swordsman, this other character just shows up in between their sword duel, just comes down, and they have this great like heavy metal theme for her.
Yeah, they got. I don't think we ever addressed last time either just how great the music for this show has been.
Music's phenomenal. It's like almost like an extra character.
It's very. Hold on, let's see. Let me look up because I saw who the artist was who created it too, and he's done a lot of good anime.
I would love to know another artist name other than Yoko Kanno, who did Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell. There we go. Standalone Complex. But yeah, but they do this great thing where it's like you think you're going to get another boss fight, and then Nui, this character, shows up, and not only does she like cancel the boss fight, but then she proclaims, "No, I'm the one that killed your dad."
Yeah, it's like the motivation that should have run the entire show. Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, the other person's lying to you.
You want to fight me now, right?
That was me. I did it. Why? Felt like it. Whatever. Yay! And like it completely turns the show on its head. And yeah, you found the artist?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Blumenkrantz, I want to say.
What was that?
Blumenkrantz?
Blumenkrantz.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Shakespeare character.
I think that is the name of my favorite track from the show was the one that plays for the theme for the mother. For Ryogo.
Yeah.
Ryugen.
Oh god, Ryoga, right? Ryoga? Coughing, hand in face.
Look, I remember Gamagori. I remember Mako, and I remember Ryuko. Beyond that,
but yeah, and they have like a little mini thing after that. Well, like Nui basically ruins the whole championship and all that kind of stuff.
at that point, it just kind of goes to hell.
And they have this like follow-up episode that's really kind of weird. Yeah, it's like Ragyo.
Ragyo, I don't know.
Ragyo.
Very often.
What'd you say?
Did they even say her name very often?
They say it a little every now and then. it is spoken. But yeah, then they have a little side episode where like they're prepping for my favorite arc of the show, where it's revealed that like now all of the school bosses are going to wear track uniforms and they're going to invade other schools.
Oh, that's right. Like when Nui showed up, that was also when she cut Senketsu into pieces, right?
That happened in the next episode where she was pretending to be like a newspaper reporter.
Right, for no real reason other than to get her wanting to fight again.
Yeah, but she got her to want to fight again long enough to then chop up Senketsu.
All right. And this is where another thing I want to say about how I feel like this anime is just it's so knowledgeable of what it is and does it so much better than anyone else. If this had been Inuyasha, when Senketsu was torn up into a million pieces, if this had been Inuyasha, that would have been 1,000,000 episodes with her collecting one piece per episode.
Yeah.
And then, what is it, like 3 episodes from when it's cut up? She just gets them all at once.
It is cut up in 13. She gets it all back in 14 and has to get the glove back in 15.
It's like there was just, you've all got my uniform, cuts them up in one scene, just like goes through, cuts like 100 people's uniforms off to get Senketsu back.
Which is a
It
great
just keeps
example of
going.
the music, too, because they have a whole episode where she's not really in it, and I really love the design of her wearing that tracksuit, and she's got the Senketsu, just the eye as a scarf.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
She's wearing the sunglasses and everything. And the whole gag is like they go the whole episode without her being there, and then they'll have like a quiet beat, and all of a sudden like the theme song of the show will start playing, and she'll come out of the she comes out of like a dust cloud or something, and just like slice, 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 and like anime arm grabs the patches and goes like, "See ya!"
It runs off.
Yeah.
She had almost nothing to do with anything that was going on in the episode other than to come in at the very end, grab Senketsu pieces, and run.
Yeah, and it's a great little mini arc. I like all the goofy schools they come up with that they need to invade. Like the Kobe school, where for whatever reason it's like they're made up of Yakuza football players, and like they wear like meat armor.
Yeah.
I feel really stupid because the first time I watched that episode, I was like, why do they have steaks? And then it started like, oh wait, Kobe beef.
Yeah. I'll bet you anything that there was more puns than we can handle involved with each of these schools.
The only reason we know any of the puns is that in certain lines they just flat out say like, "Stop saying that pun."
Yeah, like when they keep yelling at about the kendo guy being a savage from whatever part of Japan he's from.
Yeah, and there's like near the end of the series, Gamagori starts like, "No, stop puns, discipline."
Yeah,
no more of those. They do the great little anime trope where Nanon fights like the four sages, where it's like, you know, the turtle, the dragon, the tiger, and the phoenix. She fights that, and the disciplinary guy fights a rich kid.
What, was Gamagori the one that fought the rich kid?
No, Gamagori fought the Kobe beef.
Yeah,
gangsters. He threw their ironclad rule books at them.
Kendo guy fought rich kid.
Yeah, I thought I said kendo guy. I meant to say that.
You said disciplinary guy.
Oh, okay. Well,
but yeah, he got his ass kicked before, like right before other lead female character steps in.
Satsuki?
Satsuki, yeah.
Satsuki shows up. Yeah, so Uzu or Saga, let's just call him Kendo guy. Kendo guy fights a rich dude and he's confronted with the power of money.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Those are all great fights, and I love the thing where it's like, no, you have an army, I have money. And it's like, I bet that episode is really racist to Osaka. I kept thinking about that, where it's like,
it might be.
You may have turned off the internet, but I have Osaka grandmas. You can turn off the web, but you can't stop the rumors of the Osaka grandmas. It was like, I wonder how you feel if you watch this episode and you're from Osaka. Because it claims the people of Osaka will murder people for money that may or may not be real.
That is one of the few things I took away from watching, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, schoolgirl anime, very popular, you know it.
Wow, you'll have to...
I know.
Probably Haruhi Suzumi. Haruhi?
No,
Azumanga Daioh.
Thank you.
There we go. You said schoolgirl anime, so I'm gonna say.
I know, but
I'm gonna call foul. It's like
it was gonna be one of the first two you named, I think.
Yeah, it was the second one. Tenjo Tenge.
Osaka. Remember Osaka from it?
Yeah, that was her name, Osaka. Which has me kind of curious because the Osakan accent is usually translated as like a hick voice. So when in like 2016 or whatever, when those episodes come out on American DVDs, I guess that guy would be doing like a Billy Bob Thornton impression for Tanaka.
That was a terrible translation for Choji.
Yeah.
Chojin?
What?
Wow, it's been forever since I've watched that anime.
Azumanga Daioh or
no, the guy who had the sword, the moving like tentacle sword almost in Kenshin.
Oh, Kenshin, the guy that had the double
Chojin?
face, yeah.
Chojin of the sword, Chojin of the whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, here's literally all I remember about Kenshin. Henry of the Jupangatna says, always attack from above.
Important life lessons.
My Yahiko statue is broken, so...
No.
I had adult Yahiko from the extra manga. But back to Goofy Kill la Kill crap. So the way they end this arc is that Ryuko shows up and has collected all of her patches except for the hand. And using the power, and then proclaims that she's no longer about revenge and is all about the power of friendship, and manages to fight Satsuki. And the big plot twist of this arc, and which I have to admit is one of my favorite little like reveals / moments, is this whole arc was to reveal the hiding location of Nudist Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole thing where he's like, where the teacher is just like, go, 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 and you have all these naked people like hopping into these mechs that force them to like stand.
DRT.
Or is it DTR?
DTR.
They're DTRs.
Dino robots or something. DTR.
DTR.
I didn't get sick of that joke.
Oh god, I love just seeing like the people because like they hop in and their legs are like hanging down in the back, but when it snaps closed, their legs like shoot up. So it's like all these people that are laying like completely buck naked, laying forward.
It's like the most dumb way you could ever imagine for someone to jump in a mech suit and pilot it.
Yeah.
It's like I can't imagine a way worse than that.
Like what are they controlling it with like their crotch, or I guess their hands are stuck in there.
Yeah, I don't know what they're controlling it with. Their hands seem to be coming out the other end.
I think you're right. Yeah, what are they?
It's a mental symbiosis. Since it's skin on machine contact.
There we go. It's their hatred of clothing which drives their power. It's a hoot to see. I love. As a mecha fan, I have to say I enjoy their take on mecha.
like the very end of the series where they merge their two DTRs.
Yeah. Oh god. Because he has the prototype DTR. You know it's a real serious anime when you have prototypes being involved. So like this arc ends and it's a fun little reset. And they have kind of like this little mini thing, like I didn't really know how to segment this out, but there's like 2 episodes where they hang out with the nudists, and holy crap, you were right, this show wants to creep you out. Is Ryoko and Matoe hang out with the nudists, and then Satsuki visits her mom.
Yeah.
Who's a hell of a thing.
The introduction, like the very first scene, if I remember correctly, where you meet Ragia, was one of my favorite in the series.
The hot tub?
No, the hot tub I don't think was the first time you saw it. I think the first time you saw her,
she's coming out of the hot tub and it's just rainbows shooting out everywhere.
Oh, okay, that was pretty awesome then.
So you mean her second, the boardroom meeting?
It was the core. Yeah, it was the boardroom meeting, which just starts off with the best speech I've ever heard of philosophy in an anime ever.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are clothes? Clothes are sin. They're the original sin.
Oh, yeah. I love that whole idea.
And she goes on, I think it was like a 5-minute segment of her giving this speech, philosophizing clothes to justify the existence of this entire series.
That was one of the things where I felt like you almost had to applaud, where it's like, I don't think anyone has ever followed through with connecting the invention of clothing to original sins. So bravo.
Exactly. Like I think I almost slow clapped while watching that. As like they did it. They tried.
They nailed it. I had trouble because it looked like the boardroom, because they were all the same looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me of that I shouldn't bring up things I can't remember the name of it, but that one really crazy high school thing.
That never stops me. Keep going.
The gang one where it's like everyone's a ruffian.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking
Cromartie
about.
High.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a show. A hell of a show.
That it is.
You want to see a show about Freddie Mercury and gorillas and hooligans, you got to see Cromartie High. But it felt like those people looked like they were from Cromartie High, like that was their employees.
I can kind of see that. I mean, they don't think they really spent too much of their budget on extras. Like, every single student looks the exact same, too, when they're in uniform.
Oh! Now that you say that, they do kind of... if you aged the generic high school student, like made him bald and gave him a mustache, they're very similar designs. I wonder if that's what they were going for.
But, yeah, like I said, I think that might be one of my favorite moments in the anime, is just her actually philosophizing the whole concept of an anime built on clothes as the primary concept.
And still finding a way to fit in like BS,
and putting in a deep philosophy behind it too. Like, clothes are not just clothes; they are the existence of original sin from when we break from God and shame ourselves.
It's like, hey, guess what? We fit the Bible in this thing.
It's like, oh, this is so stupid. This is just amazing.
It's incredibly stupid in all the ways you'd want it to be dumb. And I love that whole, like, as a villain, like, the mother doesn't really, I guess she's just kind of there. Like, she's as evil as she needs to be. Because I guess you have big enough characters from Ryuko and Satsuki that you don't really need, like, anything. Because the mother's just a stark raving lunatic that shoots rainbows everywhere.
I do love that she just has rainbows in her hair for almost no reason.
So, okay, so the thing you hinted at the first time we talked about the show.
When it gets creepy.
Like, they're going to creep you. So she does what is called a purifying ceremony. But she doesn't really stop there. She is just constantly really grabby with Satsuki.
She is... And it, like, I thought, maybe it was going to reveal that she's not her real daughter, and this is going to be a little, maybe just tiny bit less creepy.
Nope.
It is... There is no even slight lighting up. That is just pure out. Ugh. What am I watching?
Yeah, it was just really like, what is even... I don't know.
And
no.
At the risk of making myself sound like an idiot, this is one of the reasons I feel like this anime isn't exploitive. Just simple the fact
because it's creepy.
Because when she does that, when it actually is explicitly being sexual, you're not supposed to feel good.
Oh yeah, you are creeped.
It's like that is just what the
out.
Like
yeah,
no,
and she keeps doing it.
She does too. It's not just one scene. It's repeatedly, like when she's got to her daughter tied up in the basement of her like, a prison cell and just kind of spanks her.
Yeah, just
and it's like,
for a while too.
Yeah,
like they play that sound effect. If there was a sound effect button, someone hit that at least 6 times. Like there was a lot of like.
And it's just oh my god,
it goes on.
Like that's the point. I think that's where you start to question what you're watching.
Oh yeah,
nothing else in the entire series kind of makes you feel uncomfortable. Like it shouldn't be there, or that it's even sexual, but then that happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now it is, and now I don't feel comfortable. So I'm pretty sure this is what they're trying to say.
Yeah, it's creepy.
That's the only thing, though. There's no reason for her to do it. Like,
they never justify it. It wasn't there like, you have to, it's like, the more shame you feel, the weaker it makes you. Like, they never have a line like that. It's like, nah,
like, there's nothing in the story to justify it. And even if you step out and try to, like, analyze what the story is, there's still no reason for her to do it. It's like, it's not even
really
fan
creepy.
service. No one feels good about that.
There's probably someone.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You don't count
I'm just gonna
them.
throw that out there. Maybe that'll be the first comment on this podcast. There'll be somebody raising their hand like, that was me.
I'm just saying I kind of fapped at that for a while.
I'd hit that.
It's like
retweet.
But that's like, it's just that you can't find a good justification for why she does that, and that's why I think that this anime is a better thought experiment than some people give it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only reason for her to be doing this at all is to give you that contrast.
Yeah.
To give you that contrast, like, oh sure, that sexy magical girl anime transformation she does is a little bit over the top, but at the same time, it doesn't feel out of place. It doesn't feel abnormal. It doesn't really feel sexual. And then this happens, and it's like, it has to. The only reason for it to be there is to give you that contrast, so that you understand what they've done for the rest of the anime.
Yeah, and at the same time, we get the big info dump with the nudist beach organization that it turns out that life fibers are aliens.
Yeah, it's like the next step in anime is always going from the mundane to the supernatural.
Yeah, so apparently clothing picked humanity to evolve them to the point of where they can devour humanity. But they left behind not alien clothing to lull us into a sense of false security, hence the nudist beach organization.
Being a nudist is rebelling against alien oppression. It's obvious, Pat.
It is so necessary. And I love the whole thing where like Senketsu is like, I'm an alien? It's like
yeah.
It's the Piccolo reveal all over again.
I forgot that Piccolo didn't know that.
I thought I was a demon. Nope, Slugman.
But yeah, that was a pretty good moment. It's just like, wait a minute, I eat people?
It's like, wait, that's what I've been doing? I thought well, maybe that's why I like blood. And you have that you have the thing where like Ryuko like forcibly removes Senketsu and argues with him while he's on a chair.
Yeah, but no one else can hear him.
Yeah, so there's all that stuff is great. And that leads into kind of like I had a lot of trouble dividing the last like 5 or 6 episodes because it's all like it's a roller coaster. Even though there is a gap in the middle of all this, once the show decides I almost was kind of bummed out by this. Once the show decides it's going to end, the show decides it's going to end.
Yeah, at that point, it pulls out the rug from under its own feet.
Yeah, and it pushes you, it hugs you, and you jump down the stairs together. It's the end of the last Harry Potter film when he grabs him and they jump off that building.
Because again, it follows the formula. You know what's going to happen. It's not going to pussyfoot around it. It's just going to dive straight in and hit everything.
So yeah, it's yet again using school ideas as the basis of it to celebrate the success of the tracksuit adventure. They have the ominously named Hanyo Culture and Arts Festival, which is great because when they say it, everyone shudders.
That's like my 3rd or 4th favorite moment of the anime.
Where it's like
we're going to have a
Culture and Arts Festival.
And then, bam, the most dramatic music that composed for the entire show starts playing.
So, and then another big twist is revealed. So the Cultural Fest happens, and Satsuki just stabs her mother literally in the back. Just stabs her.
Right through the heart.
Right through her twisted heart. And reveals that everything she's done is try to create an army of people that have built up a tolerance to the life fibers, the alien threads that wish to devour humanity.
And so the bad guy was the good guy all along.
So in response to this, Ragyo reveals that she's just crazy, stupid, immortal. Nui shows up, and she's also crazy, stupid, immortal. And her, like, little hench person that wears sunglasses is also there.
Yeah. I think
Kumaru?
she's also part... I think she might also be all clothing. I don't remember.
No, because she eventually uses her as, like, the basis for her outfit.
But she also did that with Nui, who was...
No, well, Nui's was different because she actually, like, unwound. Well, so, like, during this, so there's a big fight. All this other kind of stuff happens. Satsuki is captured. A lot of the uniforms are just straight up destroyed. And, like, the villains are revealed to be, like, they're called covers, but they're basically, like, white suits that eat people and then, like, walk around with skulls where a tie would be.
And it's going to be really hard to talk about these episodes because everything just started happening really fast at this point.
It all happens. Like, so Mako gets captured. Like, Mako gets captured. Her family mostly gets captured, except for the little kid, because he sold his tuxedo and painted himself black.
So he was just walking around naked in a paint-on tuxedo.
Yeah, and it's just the wang's out.
Not that there was any point to that because he didn't really help.
He gets away.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
And the most crazy part of all these reveals, like, so Ryuko gets completely beaten all to hell by Nui. Like, she can't beat her. And, like, the bad guys just kind of win. Like, they take Satsuki, they do all these kind of things.
Like, the world seems to be in chaos, clothes are everywhere.
And then they just, like, look at the screen and it goes 3 months later. Which I love to death. It's just like, hey, why not have a time jump? And
because every good anime has a time jump.
Every good anime has a time jump. And the reveal of the time jump is that the 4 captains of the school, the 4 chairs, have become nudists. Which is super funny in my mind. I thought they all looked absolutely ridiculous as nudists.
That reminds me of another moment I liked when you brought up back when she was having the original showdown with all 4 of them. And they were turning up naked at the end of the light to cheer on the team with Mako side stand.
Yeah.
Gamagori came in his boxers. He wasn't completely naked. And they did the best joke with Mako going, "Why do you like that?" "Well, I'm going to bear my shame out." And then she beats the next guy. He comes wearing a tracksuit rather than being naked. Is she not going to yell at him?
Yeah. And then same thing with Anon shows up. However, Kendo guy just stands there naked.
Yeah, the Kendo is just outright naked when he shows up.
Oh, and another gag. So while they're all nudists, I don't remember how they do this, but they hack their way back into the cameras. And the torture sequence you were talking about earlier, where like Satsuki gets spanked a whole bunch, they ended up seeing the tail end of that, and they're all freaking out, like the shame, the horror. And Kendra guy's like, I don't have eyes. I can't. What's happening? Can
That
someone
felt like a Toph
describe?
joke.
Yeah. Can someone please tell me on the screen what is occurring?
Dude, fake toenail.
Oh God, yeah. And it's revealed that Satsuki has a fake toenail. Like she escapes on her own and has a fake toenail that can destroy covers and runs around completely naked for a while. There's a lot of nudity in this show. So basically the end game of the show, a whole bunch of stuff is revealed. The main thing being that Ruko is actually the
Hold
sister.
on. First we found out that the whole reason that I already forgot her name, Ragyo, was trying to do anything was that she had that Satsuki had a sister.
Yeah.
They dumped down a garbage chute because she was a failed experiment.
Well, they tried to create, so you find out that Ragyo is actually a human being that has managed to recreate themselves as like human and life fiber. I guess it's kind of said like either it's her lifelong exposure to the life fibers or she's just special in a way that she could survive the process.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to do it to Satsuki, but it failed because she was already like a year and a half old. So they have another kid, and that's the one they done who successfully becomes a hybrid being, but apparently dies in the process, and they dump her in the toilet.
And it's like down the chute she goes, and it's like the moment they did that, it's like, oh god, that is dark. There's no way they just killed a baby. That must be Nui. That was my first thought. It's like it's going to turn out to be Nui, right?
Yeah, the musical one. But no, they totally play the bit that it is revealed. So, and in one of the best ways to find out that someone's your parent, Ragyo is holding Ruko's heart in her hand.
The best paternal test.
Yeah. And it's like, can't you see the life fibers throwing through your heart? Surely
her eyes
you
are just
my
shot
daughter.
up with the heart out of her body, all made of life fibers throbbing. It's like, what?
It's that, and at that point, like, she was already wearing Junketsu as well. The mother had taken Junketsu, and she fights Ruko, and Ruko completely loses. They remove Senketsu from her, and she is just complete. Oh, wait. Am I skipping a bit? Was that where the 3-month gap happened? Like, she pulled the heart out?
I can't remember.
I should have taken better. Anyway, that happens. She's revealed to be the parent, and you find out that, her father, Professor Matoi, was actually Soichiro Kurien, who looks like he's drawn like he's from a different anime. Like he looks super 80s. Like he doesn't have like the rounded look of all the other characters. He's got a very like ragged look.
Well, then he makes himself all crooked after that. So,
which is one of my favorite gags is they reveal that like Ragyo has him murdered, and by that like they blow up his car, and you see like his burnt corpse. But after like 2 or 3 beats after the henchmen drive away, like a zipper appears and the corpse like opens up and he's just there.
He came prepared.
Yeah, he came prepared with a fake burnt corpse, and he raised Ruko as his own and developed the scissor blades of the series, and created Senketsu. So of the things, like big things that happened, because I've obviously didn't take good enough notes to remember order, and it all kind of blurs together anyway, Ruko is given Junketsu. Mm-hmm. And there's like I guess an episode, or maybe part of an episode, where Ryuko basically becomes the villain of the series, because she's running around wearing Junketsu. In a slightly different design. Like, it looks different on her than it does on Satsuki.
Right.
And
it's the trope of the good guy temporarily being tempted by the dark side and going evil on it.
For basically a partial episode.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of weird, creepy moments, the way that she seduces her, and I do mean seduce, is they have like a weird naked vision where like Ragyo and Nui are like laying in a reverse order from Ryuko.
Yeah.
And they're all like in naked space, and then she decides to become evil after being shown herself as a bride.
It's like, you could be happy marrying someone who doesn't exist in your mind.
Yeah.
They didn't waste much time on it. I don't think they put much effort into that.
Well, they also didn't have a face on the person's body. It's like a
Yeah.
glowing red life fiber head. And in like this weird moment, like she just starts making out with Nui and then like flies away.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Which is like, so are the villains? Is like, does the life fiber just make you like, you just really touchy?
They're clothes. Clothes exist to touch.
There we go. So she goes off. She
Your
fights.
clothes are touching you right now, Pat.
Yeah, my clothes are telling me to do many things. So she fights all the heroes, and they have the fight you'd expect. Like the nudists do battle. They reveal like extra suits and stuff like that. And Mako, who I cannot believe we haven't addressed this yet, constantly has hallelujah. Like they literally play hallelujah, and Mako
Yes.
has speeches upon speech, and gives one where she finally kind of reaches into Ryuko's heart.
Mm.
And Satsuki wears Senketsu for a little while.
Right, they had that great moment where they swapped their
outfits.
their kamuis or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kamui.
And she has a little bit of a conversation with him, and they try to work together. And I think basically what happens is like she rips open Junketsu and leaves a big enough hole for Senketsu and Mako to actually get absorbed inside of Ruko.
Mm-hmm. Which got kind of weird, but it worked.
That also got weird, but she manages to give her a hallelujah speech
Yeah.
inside of her thing.
So like, yeah, she got pulled into the suit, which got her pulled into Ryuka's mind, which got her to be able to do a fourth wall breaking speech inside of an already not real space.
Yeah. She basically gets to do Inception. And they have this really gruesome moment where you find out that the reason that she's so much stronger than Satsuki with Junketsu is that Junketsu is actually sewn into her own life fiber, since she's a half life fiber, half human.
Mm.
So when she rips off Junketsu, she's like covered in blood head to toe.
Yeah, but that actually,
she's also Wolverine.
it was pretty neat though, seeing Satsuki fight with Senketsu.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not actually synced at all, which they kind of made a big deal of frequently in the anime. So
Yeah.
rather than her like actually doing the transformation, she had to call them out.
Yeah, she had to like anime style say them, and yeah.
Were they
those
doing
were
the
great.
text when she was doing it in that fight?
Oh
Or
yeah,
did
they would show text every time.
Okay. Like, I couldn't remember if they dropped it just for that moment or if it was
No,
still
they
doing
kept it.
the huge bold text showing up.
Big red text. So they switch. Ryuko gets Sen gets back, and a huge power up. And one of my favorite moments is that Nui's been watching all this, and just I guess put her in her place. Ryuko cuts off Nui's arms,
Yeah.
and then steps on them so they can't grow back.
It's like, whoops, well, you're not getting them back.
And it just goes, my arms, my arms, my arms, my arms, my arms, my arms, my arms. Like, constantly repeats that. And she's, even though she's referred to as the Grand, so maybe I'm misreading that. But it looks like they're saying courier. But is that like, are they saying like the French word for like,
It's
like
courtier.
oh, so is that like French for like seamstress or something?
I think it is French, but I mean,
They say French a lot,
It is
yeah.
literally what you see her do. She is responsible in fancy. Can't remember, but in the fashion industry, where you're getting really fancy, where they do the really ridiculous outfits that are high fashion. What her position is a real one, where they're the one responsible for stitching and making the huge dresses like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's fitting. It's what she is. That's why they keep having all those weird French.
Life is amusing.
Yeah, they keep saying that over and over.
It's a great little thing. And then basically you're just stuck in the end game. Like you have the huge power up
With
So
constant
Ryuko is-
escalation until the very end. They never.
insane escalation. So Ryuko is more powerful than ever. Satsuki puts back on Junketsu, and then just magically is able to use all the transformations.
Mhm.
And then in the final battle, it has been revealed that, well, I guess one of the things we left out is they invented a thing that allowed to extract people from the outfits, the covers.
Gamagori wielded like 100 of them at once.
Well, he had to save Mako. And in that big moment, like in the final battle, everyone gets yet another. And I guess maybe it's because one of my first animes was Gundam. I'm really a sucker for when you add mark and then a number at the end of a title of something. So the fact that they were getting Mark IIs, Mark IIIs, and all of the Regalia Persona Mark III, like, so all of the captains yet again get new upgrades. The most ridiculous is Nonoin, who gets like the smallest outfit ever.
It's an anime, of course she does.
Well, she like tops the. It might as well have been a camo because it's literally like
I
it's like
couldn't
a
tell
fetish Flintstones outfit.
yeah, I could not tell if that was skin or not. How
It
much of that
was.
was. Okay.
So it's just like half of a bikini bottom and 3 bones.
It was ridiculous.
It was really ridiculous. Gamagori gets another like more fancy gimp suit. The thing I do like about that, and the reason they're so skimpy, and they're all much more skimpy, is that like for whatever reason, their life fiber outfits seem to reflect the fact that they joined Nudist Beach,
Yeah.
which is a good little visual thing. And the only person who gets their life fiber outfit back that doesn't reflect that is Mako gets her outfit back as well, and it's not a different version; it's the same thing. Which why not? It looks like the JoJo. She has JoJo's hat.
I just like it. I love that outfit.
And it's a great set of powers too, and she hits people with baseball bats.
Did you forget? I think you forgot in like the 13 or so episodes since that she was the president of a fight club.
Yeah, I should have brought that up. One of my favorite. We'll touch on our favorite episodes once we finish our wrap up of the series, which is kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah.
And basically, like they just fight Ragyo, who is now unveiled like her ultimate weapon, which is I think called the Conformity Beam or the Conformity Field, where she can mind control a bunch of people. And basically, Ryuko and Satsuki fight her. They fight a whole bunch, and Ragyo gets a really ridiculous outfit. And they continue fighting.
It is flabbergasting how much stuff I'm thinking about that we just haven't talked about and can't.
Because we'd have an impossible time describing it? Or?
Yeah, well, not just because we have probably not enough time in the night to talk about everything that happened.
Well, once we consider the series over, we'll talk about highlights. I'm now realizing in future things when we talk about shows, I'm going to take more notes because I'm doing a bad job of emceeing this beautiful show. So it's like your standard anime ending. So at the end of the show, it looks like the bad guys have won because this anime, Ragyo was able to fly into effing space.
Of course, has to end in space.
And she makes out with a satellite to take over the world.
She kisses it.
She kisses it.
It turns out that satellite looks like a pair of lips.
It does. And so in response, Ryuko sucks in everyone's clothing.
It's like maximum or absolute domination field or something.
Yeah, the absolute domination field. Yeah. So in response, the final moment of the series is that after taking care of Nui, Ryuko puts her scissor blade back together, creates the giant scissors, and then, I don't think it's like crass to even say, literally becomes a Super Saiyan.
Yes. Literally becomes a Super Saiyan.
Turns into a rocket, flies into space, and they have a great final battle. And then, which has a really great moment because in the kind of thing where we keep harping on the fact that the series understands when things are happening, she purposefully lets herself get hurt, and comments like, well, every time I've gotten hurt in this show, I bounce back stronger.
Literally
so
becomes a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, so she does that with the idea that's like, well, if you hurt me really bad right now, I'll probably win immediately. And she just happens to win immediately. And the show ends with her re-entering orbit. Unfortunately, poor Senketsu gets burnt up.
Yeah. With a nice, tearful goodbye. I'm glad I got to know you.
Glad I got to know you. And I'm bummed because he's like, wear prettier outfits than me. It's like, you were plenty pretty, Senketsu. Because her response to that is like, I'll find much prettier clothing than you.
But she doesn't. She just gets jealous of the little girl wearing a sailor outfit.
Yeah. She wears the outfit from the intro, actually, which is oddly enough.
Yeah.
And it just ends with her, Mako, and Satsuki going on a shopping date.
Girl date.
Oh, and they leave the door open. I don't think they are going to make another series, but they do leave the door open enough, almost like Gurren Lagann, which maybe this was a reference to Gurren Lagann. But before she dies, Ragyo says, like, you've defeated me, but remember, this is just one of the planets the life fibers have attacked. Like, eventually they'll look into why this didn't work out. So, if they wanted to, they could do another series where more life fibers attack. And
the life fibers didn't strike me as something completely sentient. They struck me as almost literally...
Random.
What?
Oh, it was random. Like they absorbed a planet. It
Yeah.
blew up almost like a
Like they're just a life form.
dandelion.
Dandelion.
What am I thinking of? The thing where it's yellow and then it turns white.
Dandelion, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dandelion. Like after they blow up the planet, then it just goes in separate directions and plants more life fibers.
It seems like they're more of a force of nature, like Lavos from Chrono Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost literally a Lavos thing, where they're just an alien life form that kind of spreads via space spores.
Yeah, and they're not going to tease any of that kind of stuff because from the reading I've done, so that's the main bit of the series. The bonus episode, because and I've been doing reading. Apparently, almost all animes are like this now, where they'll hold an episode for the DVD Blu-ray release. The episode is called Graduation. So I think it's just going to be like everybody hanging out on their graduation day and, having a party, which I would look forward to. So some of the stuff that I left out in my attempts to try and overview the series, one of my favorite gags, I feel like we unfairly left Nui out of our conversation.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff we left out. I mean, it's just hard to cover everything. The anime was huge.
It's insane.
And it's not that long. It's just they packed it in because it never stopped.
It's beautifully dense. Nui, so the show is covered in titles. Like people will constantly describe either their title or what they're doing, and then like big Japanese text will appear. Nui actually leans on her name after she says it.
Yeah.
There's like several times when Nui will like she interacts with the text, or like she'll like if there's like a thing where like there's two characters on the screen, like they have like the split thing where like someone's over there and someone's over there, she actually reaches in between the two panels. Mm-hmm. Like she's a very fourth wall breaky character, and all that's really fun to see. And her theme song is great. It's this like grunge metal, creepy, happy thing.
It sticks in your head.
I kind of left, and because I don't think he ever really, it wasn't really all that funny, and was just kind of part of the thing. Sumugo, the needle man, as we like to call him.
Yeah.
He's give or take.
He's give or take. We never mentioned the butler or his nephew.
Or his tea.
We mentioned his tea once, I think.
Maybe in the last episode. I did like the thing where she's like, and even your tea, which I thought was bitter, is so beautiful to me now. And he's like, you don't like my tea?
Yeah.
She's like, well, no, I like it now. And he's like, oh.
You're still kind of heartbroken.
How do you feel about the fact that, and I guess maybe the way they deal with this is the fact that like Senketsu is neither clothing nor human. He is something in between. The fact that Junketsu never actually had a personality that showed.
No, nothing. Like, it doesn't talk. It doesn't influence anyone as far as we can tell.
I was surprised about that. I thought there would be... And
yeah,
I guess maybe that's them bucking trends or something like that. But yeah, Junketsu didn't seem... But Junketsu has eyes, and it looked around.
It had eyes, and they did look, yeah. Like, it definitely seemed like it was alive. You just never... I don't know if they never felt... It's like, maybe they tried, and like, well, this isn't fun or interesting, so we're just not going to put it in the show.
Yeah, I guess there really wasn't any room for another talking outfit. Oh, I also whiffed on my theory. I so thought Senketsu was going to be Soichi.
I think you're justified, though.
I guess that was like a red herring they put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a little disappointed where, like, when he said, like, oh, I guess I'm an alien. I'm like, damn it, I guess you are an alien.
I was really hoping it wasn't her father anyways, because that would have been too creepy for me.
Oh, yeah, because she's wearing her dad.
Wearing her dead dad.
Wearing her dead, wearing my dead dad. Well, that would have been similar to Ragyo. Like, maybe that's how they both are.
Wearing your dead dad, who kind of forced himself to put for you to put him on.
You have to put me on. Well, they did have that one line where it's like, well, why does it look like a sailor suit fetish? And
yeah, that's kind of how your dad was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of funny, though. It's like, why does it so much like that? And it's like, that's just how your dad was.
Yeah. Like, usually if you have a question about this show, it usually is exactly what it is at face value, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
I love the teacher. Akiro, I think his name was. Akiro?
I remember Ragyo barely. I remember Nui, Ryuko, and Mako, and Gemiko.
I brought up a list of names. Well, the funny thing is I brought up a list of names. However, my pronunciation is crap. So it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so the nudist guy is his theme song in particular is so much fun.
Let me tell you two things.
Why do you got to bring up the one that sucks? What a dumb. And I guess they're making fun of those kind of characters.
Well, that's why I thought that. That's why I enjoyed it, because that's exactly what it was. Is that
But they
there
were
are
still
characters who
doing
talk like that, have a really dumb catchphrase that they think is clever, and they keep reusing it through the show.
Yeah.
So he does that, and they're always dumb. I love them.
Well, I guess the funny thing is he only really did it in like the first and second time he appeared, and then he dropped it for the rest of the show.
He did it another time.
But he was really outshined by the nudist king.
Yeah, the teacher, the homeroom teacher.
Oh God, Mikasugi.
That sounds right. I don't know.
Mikasugi. I'm looking at it spelled out, and it's not spelled out phonetically.
I just love that one episode where he's hanging out with with Mako's family, and he's getting naked again, just in the middle of them for no reason, and everything else is just going on normal and without nothing's bringing attention to it whatsoever. If you just watch the mother's eyes.
Oh no, it's more than that. She turns her head, but they leave out frames of animation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these hard, like, 45, 45, 45.
Yeah.
And it's really great because at the same time, that's when Gamagori bursts in. So everyone's paying attention to Gamagori.
There's other stuff going in there. So if you're not looking at her, you'd easily miss it. But it's obvious what she's doing.
It's so funny. And that's one of the ones where I'm curious how well the dub, because I've only seen the clips.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll only see clips because it's so expensive.
God.
How well the guy will do, like, the difference between having a teacher voice and doing the whole, like, nudist beach.
Mm-hmm.
Because the flair was there really good. We didn't pay a lot of lip service to the Makanksho family, but they're pretty funny.
They are funny.
I like the father. The back alley doctor.
Back alley something. It's always something.
Oh, the ones that are dead can't sue you.
It's like you wrapped her up so tight she can't even move. But she's healed.
She's healed. She'll keep going. That's the thing where it's like he's famous for having more patients die than live. That seems like a bad thing. Well, the ones that are dead can't sue you, so there you go.
You remember, like, we talked about already, but the episode where they got rich and they all just started acting really snooty, and they had that, like, really weird violin music playing all the time.
And the actor
like,
stopped, like, his voice got cleaner, too, where it's like, I'm going out to gamble.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden it became one of those sort of, like, rich family tragedies.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
And they did it in an episode.
Like, oh, I guess less than an episode.
And the Ryuko, like, Mako fight is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great solid Mako moments. One of my favorite Mako moments is when she realizes that she's in the middle of Osaka and she's broke. And then she realizes that they're shooting money.
Mm-hmm.
And she grabs the guy's gun. She's like, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. And then goes off and buys a whole bunch of food. Like, Mako's great. They always found ways. I'm shocked because there was a part of me that was worried that, like, the Hallelujah speeches were eventually going to get old.
No.
But they found a way to keep those. They were always just as funny as they needed to be.
That's why I'm pretty hopeful that they probably shouldn't do any more.
Yes.
Because, I don't know. They might be able to land it, but I'm worried that they wouldn't. And because they nailed this so perfectly.
Yeah. The only way that I'd really want it is if it was, like, Zeta Gundam, or a thing where it's like Kill la Kill, Z, and it takes place like 100 years later, and it's like Ryuko's grandson or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then you have a really awful bit where, like, Ryuko shows up to fight, and she's like 85 and having to wear like the fetish outfit, and it's having to do like the Titan snaps, but she's like sagging to her knees or something like that. Never mind, I want to see this.
Yeah.
Make it happen, anime.
I'll leave you to that one.
And a chicken and egg kind of thing. They've one of the artists of the show is now re-releasing it as a manga.
Ah, interesting.
So it started as anime. I don't know what they'll do. I don't know if frankly, without the energy of how well things move and the spirit of the music and the cast, I don't actually know how good it would be as a manga.
I don't know.
I think that would actually be kind of boring.
It did rely a lot on its visual strengths. A lot of visual and audible strengths.
Audible strength.
Yeah, it relied a lot on media form it was in
Hmm.
to carry it along. Like, it was just beautifully animated the whole way through. It's always fun to watch what happens. And manga fights aren't that fun to watch ever. Like
No, and that
not even in the better drawn mangas. It's usually you're just kind of glossing over the action because action pages looks terrible in most mangas.
yeah, you only really get like the sword clash while talking or any of that kind of stuff.
Well, it's usually a lot of like they try to draw motion blur in there a lot, and
Yeah.
it literally your eyes gloss over whatever's happening just to try and get a gist of it.
Hmm.
It doesn't really work that well, but in the animated form, it looks great.
I wonder if you can make this funny. Did they ever make Fully Cooley into a manga?
I don't know.
I don't know, because Fully Cooley was a similar kind of series.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing now is like that show's old, so I feel like you could kind of tell people it's like, oh, you should watch Kill the Kill. It's like a much better executed Fully Cooley, but people would probably be like, what's Fully Cooley? And they'd be like, oh, well, it was this weird series that dealt with male puberty and TVs and
Hmm.
smoking. Unlike this show that like really welly executes kind of stuff. A lot of great characters. I mean, the goofy thing too is like for what you would ever say about the show, I now have a whole bunch of really favorite female anime characters come out of this. I don't think there's a single dud on this show.
No,
Like,
not that's an actual main character, anyways.
I think that Ryuko's awesome. Satsuki ends up being a really great character by the end of it. Nui is really funny and dark,
And terrifying. They
terrifying.
hit her pretty well, I think.
Um, I didn't think I'd end up liking her, but Nanon, the music fighter, I ended up for for his
At the risk of what it sounds like, once she became a nudist, she kind of
yeah, I
became more
guess.
interesting.
Well, the funny thing about it, she was just like, eh. Well, I love the fact that like none of them seem to care, like because the nudist uniforms are literally just a belt and like ammo pouches.
Yeah.
And no one's like, we wear these creepy uniforms now. She's just kind of like, whatever.
And they could have done some really obscene jokes with that.
They didn't.
They didn't. But they
No one ever
could have.
accidentally sits on something.
Nothing.
Or
Like I wanted to see find out Gamagori has like a 10-foot dick. Like when he walks around, you just see a trail of destruction between his legs going on or something.
like the youngest, like the kid from the like he like Guts has a black eye or something.
It's like they could have done something so much more obscene. And then again, they leave out the sexualization in this show. It's not
Oh yeah.
really in there.
I like the fact that like Mikasugi is the only person with nipples on that entire planet,
Yeah.
and they glow purple. But his like get ready love making or whatever it says in the
Mhm.
song that always plays when he goes nuts is so funny.
Yeah.
What'd you think of so the show, like most animes, switches up the intro halfway through. Which of the two intros did you like more?
I almost always like the first intro better than the second one.
Hmm.
Um, and unfortunately, I don't remember the intros to this one nearly as well as I remember the extras.
Oh, okay.
'Cause
I don't really remember the extras.
Well, I specifically remember the second extra just because that's the weird one. It's just Makos everywhere.
Hmm.
It's like the whole bunch of Makos are swimming, and it's very sublime music. And now she's pouring rainbows into a terrified-looking star, just regurgitating other things.
Some sort of nightmare fuel is the way you're
It's
going to
like-
describe this.
It was. It was Mako's extra, and that's the one they use for the rest of the show too. Like after it starts to get really dark and serious, like along with
pops
its regular absurdity, that's the one they're ending every episode with.
That's always the thing you got to worry about tone.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Korra's lucky that it ended up on the internet, because imagine the breath-bending scene and having like SpongeBob pop up and being like, "I'm up next."
Oh god.
But yeah, I'm glad that this is on the internet, because I don't know what station would have Kill la Kill.
I mean,
The Sci-Fi ended up butchering Gurren Lagann when they had it. When they tried
did
their,
they? What'd they do?
Siffy. A lot of clouds over characters. And I think they painted Yuko a little bit.
Really? I mean, I remember her being very ostentatious, I want to say. It's not the right word, but...
I enjoy your use of it, and I'm adding it to the record.
It's not the right use of it, but...
That's what we
But
should
I don't
call
know
fan
what
service now on this podcast.
I don't know
that character's
what
rather ostentatious.
I don't know what they would have done to her. Like, what? How can you put... Like, they just, like, cell paint a shirt over her or something?
There's some pretty ridiculous classic examples of people doing stuff like that.
Okay.
That's what they did in Tenchi.
Because it's not like one of the four kids where they, you know, kind of hide the fact she has boobs. It would be, like, literally impossible. I can't imagine how you would do that with her.
In the bathhouse scenes in Tenchi Muyo when it aired on Toonami on Cartoon Network, they literally painted bathing suits onto the characters. But, like, there wasn't any, like, shadowing or tone difference, so they were just, the skin was just green or purple or something.
Right.
That always stuck out to me as, like, a really weird kind of thing. So I think we've talked a lot about Kill la Kill. Is there any other thing you can think of off the top of your head that you really liked about this show?
Apparently when I was watching, I was trying to hunt down the soundtrack, learn about it, is when I learned that apparently there is like a fan war between what people are shipping with it.
Oh, shippings. Oh, cool.
Yeah, because people ship Gamagori and Mako, and I think there's an obvious reason for that.
I'm a huge fan of Gamagori Mako, and
people,
am bummed that it never really got consummated.
Yeah, and then people ship Ryuku and Mako, and they are apparently at odds with each other. I find that's funny.
I like that there's a war. But the thing is, so you have that example of when Gamagori took the hit to the stomach, and then Mako cried the funniest tears that have ever been animated.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh yeah, when Gamagori supposedly sacrifices himself at the end.
And then reveals that he's wearing a metal shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah. He's like, he lands at the ground and Mako's like, Gamagori! And it's like fire hydrants.
Yeah.
I don't know who else you would ship. Is there like a community that tries to ship the music lady with
Ragyo and Satsuki?
Oh yeah. I'm shipping that right now. There's that one guy. That one guy's.
You gotta get a little bit of Wincest in there.
There we go. That's what I'm in for. And I waited episodes for this thing, and it's splendid.
Ugh.
I'm shipping Senketsu and Junketsu. They hang out together.
Is that what they do now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, they would have, but they don't.
They share a drawer in this thing that I'm writing.
And the headcanon of Pat Mendonca.
Yeah. That's what's happening up here. A lot of clothing. Actually, yeah, is a final funny thing that I like. I like it whenever Senketsu wasn't being worn and was just hopping around.
Yeah.
And I think there was at one point when he literally dragged Ryuko somewhere, like she had passed out. Like one of the flashbacks showed, like Senketsu like knocking on a door with his sleeve and like dragging her with his other sleeve.
Yeah, I want to say that was the time gap.
Yeah, after she had her heart ripped out.
Yeah, after she had her heart ripped out, I think they mentioned that it was Senketsu that saved her.
So I was doing a little reading. Ryuko is the same voice as Karen from Code Geass, the red-haired one.
She was like the main...
Colin, there we go.
Colin, okay, yeah.
Yeah, not Karen.
Okay, the same Japanese voice actor or the same dub?
Same Japanese voice actor.
Okay.
I wanted to be like, that voice sounds familiar. Then she also plays a character in Persona who blows my mind because it is the like quiet, polite character. So it's like, oh god.
I think I only listened to the dub for Code Geass.
Goddamn hero.
It was hard to get past Lelouch. I couldn't go back after hearing him.
Johnny on Bach, man.
Yeah. I could not listen to him.
Put on a clinic. We'll have to talk about Code Geass in the future, but I love the fact that, like, I almost feel like they fucked up the paperwork, but whoever's idea it was like, well, Johnny Young Bach always plays heroes, let's put him on Lelouch. Yuri Lowenthal always plays villains, let's put him on Suzaku. And I, like, flipped it. It's like, it was beautiful. Yeah. You had the hero voice. Yeah. So good. So good. All right, so do you have any final thoughts about Kill la Kill? It is, let me just say it again, it is available. If you have a Netflix subscription, you can easily watch it in Japanese. Crunchyroll, you can watch it for free. You just have to watch an advertisement at the beginning and the end of every episode. Well, I guess at the end you could just stop watching it. If you have a Hulu subscription, you could check out Kill la Kill as well. And if you were made of money and infinite patience, you can also buy the DVDs. The first volume is out right now with 4 episodes, English and Japanese, with literally no special features, for $30 on DVD, $45 or $50 on Blu-ray. What are your closing thoughts about Kill la Kill?
That was a great show, and I don't think I'm going to enjoy another anime like that for a while. It has poisoned what I want to watch in anime.
That is the weird part, where it's like I'm in the same boat where it's like, yo man, anime. Let's watch more anime. And now it's like
I told you, I'm giving
good.
Madoka Magica a try right now, but it's serious.
It's just not.
It's like they're crying. Things are making them very sad. Life is shitty for these people.
So it's not like that episode of Yu-Gi-Oh where there's saw blades.
No.
Oh God.
It's like this is not what I just watched. This is a very different tone. I don't know if I'm having fun.
Well, so that's If we rated stuff, Kill la Kill gets 5 stars out of 5. Gets 5 ostentatious ladies out of 5.
It is. I think if I can understand how, if you've just read about it, if you've just heard about it, even if you've just seen clips of it, you would be hesitant to trust a word we have said about this show.
That's a good point. It makes no sense. You need to get.
You wouldn't believe us, and I do not blame you at all for doubting our praise of this show. Not in the slightest. You are okay and justified, but you're also wrong. You are dead wrong. This show is good.
The best part is we have talked exhaustively about this show, and I still think it's completely worth watching.
Yeah.
Especially since this is like infinite amounts of gibberish about it, so actually watching it get executed is so phenomenal. And even though it's only 24 episodes long, we left a lot out.
Oh God, we left a lot out. It's just began because it's so dense.
It's so great.
But here's the thing: like, there are other animes that have ridiculous paces to them, but they're hard to keep up on. They don't stick the landing very well with.
They don't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of sense because they're jumping too much. Kill la Kill is just, it takes itself just seriously enough to have that kind of density without making it unfollowable. Like it's easy to follow this one because it all makes sense. It's all very humorously well done. And I think it's just a well-crafted anime. Like, even if you ended up not liking it, I think you kind of have to just respect how well-crafted it is.
Mm. And it's really easy to binge watch.
Yeah.
It is super effective at binge. Like, I ended up, like, one night, I accidentally woke up in the middle of the night and ended up like, well, maybe I'll watch a little. I watched like 4 episodes. It was like, oh man, this show is great. I can't stop.
Because
like,
it doesn't have a moment where you're not having fun with it. Like, even in an action anime that's really good, you kind of get burned out after a while of what they're doing. Like, sometimes it just gets too heavy, gets too far escalated, and you're like, well, I need to take a breather from this. It keeps a certain levity about it at all times, even as it escalates, even if it gets more serious, where that burnout doesn't really feel like it happens.
They have enough insane characters to bring it down.
And in Ryoko's own words, everyone is just bat poop crazy.
Yeah.
Bat crap crazy.
I thought you said bat crap.
That's what
crap.
it was. It was
like,
bat crap was the translation they used.
I think isn't there a line where it's like, I've got more bat crap people than you do.
That is literally one of the lines she says.
Yeah. Well, it's like a whole series of Bolins. Is the way to look at it.
Very much so.
Bunch of Bolins in this show.
I would watch more shows if they were all Bolin.
Bolin is awesome. All right, well, that's our overview of Kill la Kill. I think in the future, just to leave some background ideas, but maybe, like, do you want to, like, conquer shows similar to how we did Korra, where it was, like, 5 episodes at a time?
Yeah, that's what we should probably do.
Probably. So we probably could have split Kill la Kill across, like, 4 or 5 episodes of this podcast.
You might still want to.
Maybe we'll revisit it at some point.
Okay.
We'll have a dark moment. It's like, well, we're going to restart Kill la Kill. Welcome to our anime book club. We're doing Kill la Kill.
Oh, God, why did we ever like this?
In a month, we're like, oh, this is garbage. Well, the good news is that we're going to eventually talk about Kill la Kill again in mid-September when the last episode comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Is somehow that will be available. I will find it.
So I'm really curious, too, because I keep seeing, when I was trying to find stuff for this show, I saw people making comments on how they felt like they really needed this last episode. Because apparently they didn't like the way it ended.
Why would...
And I'm really confused at what they thought, because I thought that was a lot of...
That's a great ending.
A lot of animes have such worse endings than that. Like, this had conclusion. Nothing was really left open. There was no, like... Usually an anime will have a really bullshit twist at the very end where nothing makes sense anymore. I'm looking at you, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I thought you were saying I'm looking at you, Pat. You don't make sense.
You don't make sense, Pat.
I don't make sense.
You don't. Your twists.
I have a good example. That Gundam Unicorn just stops. The last line is like, we should take care of that general. Yeah. And then it goes to black.
Yeah. Like, some of them just don't have anything. I felt like this was a very good ending to it. Like, anything after this just feels like it's basically going to be fan service. Like, it's going to be, well, you get to say goodbye to the characters now.
Mm-hmm. I hope there's enough of a gap. Like, it's like a couple of months. Like, I want to know what Gamagori's up to.
Him and Mako
start
getting
gardening?
together.
I hope they're together.
A 10-foot gamma dick.
She's just like riding it. Not riding it sexually, but like...
It's got a
like
saddle.
That's how she comes into frame. Yeah, like with the saddle and everything.
It's got reins.
Yip. Okay, I'm a mess at this point. I think we're done.
I think we're done.
We're done. This episode began with cock push-ups and it ends with Gamagori. I'll see you later, Matt. See you next time on the podcast.
See ya.
Leave questions, comments, and of course complaints in the YouTube area. See y'all.